Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Crypto Talks. My name is Phil. That's Rob, and yeah, it's TA Monday again. It's been a kind of a weird weekend and weird week. Last week was, Toppy and then Dumpy, and people were freaking out, and we were kind of just laughing around about it because we did some predictions and they played out. And yeah, I had a lot of fun. I don't know about you, but
I had a lot of fun in some ways. Just closed my Bitcoin position at break even because things don't look great. Currently live watching as I'm talking to you, watching a Metis chart go a bit shit. So just hoping that bounces. Yeah, that's fine. I'm here. But yeah,
even
this is part of it. I had a great weekend. I think I was saying in the Discord before, I think I've spent collectively about 24 hours over Saturday and Sunday just watching charts. I spent all weekend. And yeah, anybody who wants to pop in, they can see I'll put in there the amount of trades that I put in, and then there's like this little gap where I was asleep, and then it's like off we go again. I had great fun. Buying dips, riding waves, catching dumps, and generally, just being calm and doing exactly what I planned, which was making sure I had ammunition ready to buy the dips. As people know, as I say, I keep a decent chunk of my portfolio automated on the trading bots, and that's how I do most of my altcoin trading, completely automated. And these, over the past couple of days, over the weekend, they started to sell into cash, nice cold hard cash, which now I'm now looking and going, oh yay, great ammunition for me to start buying with. So I've done some buying, I've done some trading. Yeah, my Bitcoin position is about break even, and I'm just looking at it going, yeah, I'll wait to see if we get a better entry. And overall, that's a few people I've showed my trades this weekend, and they've been like, how have you done this? What's going on? It's like, it's really quite simple. Look for dumps, look for bigger drops than you're expecting. Everybody's
I think
wait for reversals.
I think a lot of people they have to realize, especially people that are a bit new to this, and we always talk about, for the new people coming in, and the I think one of the best advice is to buy when you're about to shit your pants. That's when you're gonna buy, right? Not when you're hurrying up to the bathroom, obviously, but like when everything's crashing down and you're like, oh crap, that's when you get in, because that's probably a good place to buy.
Yeah,
it could keep going down, but
still
good. You're buying way away from the top.
Maybe we can start straight up. Just put my screen up and show. So this is.
We could, but yeah, sure, okay, we can do that.
Yeah, just to as it's on topic, this is my current chart I'm looking at, and the reason why I've opened this position on Metis, I don't particularly care about Metis at all, but look at this giga dump, 37% in what we're talking, a space of a week.
Yeah,
that's buy territory in a bull market. I'm looking quite simply and going, this $95-$100 range, this is where we got support. It's come all the way down. It's a fib level. It's massively oversold. I'm going to buy it. Now, I have bought this with leverage, but I've done that with a chunk of cash sat besides, and that's one reason why I've just decided to close my Bitcoin position, is in case this position goes south. And that's what people need to understand, is that when I'm taking big risks and opening positions, and I'm perfectly comfortable to hold positions into a drawdown, because the worst case is I've got a big chunk of cash sat there to buy spot and liquidate into spot, and in which case I'll just hold, because I don't believe this broader cycle is done. I don't care if this drops another 30-40%. I'll just buy a bit more of it. It's a bull market. This is cheap. It's going to go up. So being able to be calm and trade calm and go, oh, I got that wrong. Oh well. That gives me an awful lot of power to make rational decisions.
Well, here's the thing too, Rob. We keep talking about how people need to make objectively good buys and sells, right?
Mhm.
that is an objectively good buy. It is filled with support. Crash. Is that a cat? Yeah, that was a
No,
cat.
it
I
was
think it was not a cat.
no, no, it was my lead getting a
Mm,
bit
right, that
unplugged.
happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
Either way, I mean, if your trade has a lot of backing in terms of supports and momentum and these things, that looks very bottomy. That's an objectively good trade or buying opportunity, and you're likely not putting your entire bag in there, are you?
No,
No,
I've
you're buying with a
I've
little bit.
I've put my entirety of one futures account, which is, say it's about 10% of my trading bot account on KuCoin. If things keep going south, that trading bot is going to sell more and more and more into cash positions, which some of them are 50, 80, 90, 100. I think my highest is 300% up on this particular trading bot. So yeah, I'm perfectly okay if those sell into a bottom, because that gives me cash now to manually go bargains, and I'll happily take those bargains and ride them up, sell them again, and put them back into the bot later on. This is my strategy though, and this is something which I've taken a long time to cultivate. It doesn't work for everyone. Now, you can do things like have a huge grid bot on Bitcoin to Bitcoin USD, where it's not going to make a huge amount of money, but you can treat it literally as a backup fund. If everything goes wrong, you stop the grid bot, move all of your cash in. This is, times like this, looking at Metis, that's made a 37% drop. That means it's now something like a 60% back to all-time high, which is 60. Yeah, boom, good maths. 60% back to all-time high, meaning that's, and how quickly has it dropped that much in a week? You've seen in a bull market, things can go easily back up there in a week. Even if it doesn't, and I have to hold 2 to 3 months, it's probably going to make a brand new all-time high after that, because it's an Ethereum layer 2. Arbitrum, Optimism, Polygon, they're all going to keep making new highs throughout this cycle. So yeah, it's a like you say, an objectively good buy, and it's one that I'm perfectly happy to hold through a 10, 20, 30% drawdown, because at the end of the day, it's a bull market.
Yeah,
and I don't believe that this market is over by a long shot. And even if it is, well, things don't always go down in a straight line, and this has gone down in a straight line for a very long time.
Yep.
So that's just a bit of an insight into how to actually trade a bull market. These are the opportunities you should have been waiting for. Anybody who's been buying over the past week or two for their first buy, if they've been watching us for week after week and we've been saying there will be a dip, wait for an opportunity, there's always a better buying opportunity. There is always a time when, like you say, you should be shitting your pants when you buy big. Those are the best buys.
Yep, for sure. So okay, cool. Let's go back to our regular schedule. We usually don't start with this type of stuff, but hey, whatever. It's fun.
I think it was a good intro.
Hey, yeah, it was a good intro. It's perfectly good. So what we usually do, I know there's a lot of new people in here today, which is fun, is that we go over the Bitcoin charts, and this is the charts that we've had on, and I'm pulling this now from the start of the bull market right here. That's the bear market bottom right there, and then we just pull it here. So we have everything here. There's a bunch of fib levels here. If you've been here, you recognize this for sure. And so, yeah, we're gonna just zoom in a little bit. What we were talking about last time was how we were looking at Bitcoin here, nearing its all-time high, and we had a few scenarios. I remember one of them was that we would just crash through it, maybe stop for a moment, kind of like we did here, and then just shoot straight up again. That might be coming this week. We don't know, or we would have a kind of a choppy sideways thing here for a while to reset, the daily, like we have like a monumental move here in the RSI, really, from this little crash. Obviously, when you zoom out, this crash that everybody's freaking out about looks like it's not even there in the grand scheme of things. So I do want to point out though that there is a Batman here, and I thought that was funny, and
Yeah,
we're
I
gonna
was
get
about
into that.
to. I was about to go with the setup. Is that we've had the crash,
Yeah.
but there is still yet to be a kablam, kablow, and a splat yet to come.
For everybody who's watched old Batman stuff from what is it, the 60s or 50s or something?
The Adam West.
Batman. It's good stuff. But yeah, so obviously this Batman kind of thing here that doesn't
Holy
do
head and
anything.
shoulders, Batman.
Yeah, it's a head and shoulders Batman move. It doesn't mean anything in particular. I just want to clarify that for people that are new to this. It's just it just looks funny. But yeah, so we're going to zoom in here a little bit, and we're going to start with the 1 hourly because this is where we have been kind of trading for the past, I guess, 2, 3, 4 weeks maybe.
Yeah.
And we were talking about last time, not last time, but previous times here, that we had these liquidation events. Basically, we had a big one here back on the 5th of March, and I remember, Rob, you said during this peak, you said if there is a big dump, buy it. And then there was a big dump, and hopefully some people bought it. I really hope so. Hi, Stephen. And then we had this one, a smaller one, and then an even smaller one, because this was just a downtrend first, and then we had a small, just over the course of an hour or two, we had a small liquidation. Had another liquidation right here. And now we're currently in this type of thing that we got some pressure downwards with liquidations. I'm pretty sure this was a liquidation. I didn't watch it live, I don't think. But usually when you get that type of move in one candle, there's some liquidations going on there. Something I do want to point out, whoops, what am I? I did a Rob there. So I want to pull this trend line here. I was watching this trend line for the past couple of days, and we did break out of it when we double bottomed here, close to this fib level, which is the all-time high weekly close from back in the day, 2022. And this green line that you can barely see, there you go, is the all-time high wick over at the previous all-time high back in 2022. And we've been kind of ranging under this, which is sort of what we were expecting it to do a little bit, because those are two important levels. One is the absolute all-time high, and the other one is the weekly close, which has some significance to it. And it has been kind of ranging between here. You can see if I zoom in a little bit more, we had first a dip down to it to test it. That definitely worked out. If you sold here, you did a really good trade, I would say. Then we had this one, and that ultimately tested the bottom there. So you got a test and a test. That for me confirmed that, okay, we might be ranging here for a while. Broke out of it, sort of failed it because of the trend line probably. And then we tested here twice on this, where we got some quick moves in under it, and that was it. And now we broke the trend line right here. So for me, this looks like, with the RSI kind of coming down, it's bottomed out here on the hourly right here. And now it's slowed down a little bit, but it's not looking too horrible. If we go back all the way down, I don't know if we're going to see another test here. But, possibly. I'm seeing some type of move like this because we do have, not exactly like that, obviously, because we do have an upside down Batman that we are calling a Robin. You got the shoulder here, really ugly one, but then you got the 2 ears.
So ultimately, this to me is the level we need to hold. We say quite often, pay more attention to the candles, the bodies of the candles, as opposed to the wicks, because the candles show the real support. And we're currently making this right shoulder of this inverse head and shoulders, this inverse Batman, and it's only, people will talk about this being a bullish pattern. It's only a bullish pattern if it confirms, if we get a breakout. And so that means the buy signal now is a break up above 69,000.
Yeah, right.
And and as it stands, it's a dead cat bounce. We're in a downtrend, and downtrends generally continue until they don't. So right now, that's been my reason for closing this position. It's not great. I've taken a bit of a loss, but well, so what? I've taken gains all the way up along the way down until this downtrend breaks. And this is one of those lessons I learned from the last cycle. Oh, it's a downtrend. I'll keep adding as it goes down.
Mm-hmm.
As things go down, you get these bounces, you get opportunities to get out. And I've waited for this opportunity. I've turned around. It's failed. It's now holding this level. It's not a good place to get out, but I have other positions. I've got another position which I want to protect.
And risk management.
It is exactly risk management. If we see a bounce above 69,000, I will re-enter with Bitcoin. I'll be looking at the whole market. I'll be seeing if the entire market's starting to melt up. I'll be hoping that the ETFs are starting to buy again, because, you know, like it or not, they switched off the buying and we dropped like a stone. That's not coincidental. There was for one way or another, there was a planned outage of buying on the Friday. Now, people will scream manipulation. I scream, if a market can't hold itself up, it's going to fall down. And if you need several $100 million of buy pressure guaranteed per day in order to not fall 10, 15, 20%, you're not worth 10, 15, 20%. And maybe the ETFs knew that. Maybe they'd seen this buying pressure, they'd ran the price up, and they went, you know what, screw them. We're not going to buy for a week.
Yeah. I mean, what you're saying makes perfect sense, because, with the ETFs also comes a lot of really, really good professional traders and institutional traders, right? Because they now have access, during our open market hours, obviously, to trade against, us, the crypto geeks, the crypto bros, the degens that they've been laughing at for while Bitcoin was $100 and they were laughing at us. But now they're like, okay, now we can come in and actually do something. And it makes sense, this whole thing, because like I said, or like we said in previous videos, is that this is a range where we would expect important support, right? All-time high, coming back and retesting it. And if they wanted to, a professional trader, they would try to push the price down to these levels to scare people into saying, oh, it's going to break, and then people are going to sell. They're going to sell, and the professionals are going to be buying it up. All these type of things. That's what I would do if I had the means to move. If I had the means to move, say, Solana or whatever, down to a very important level and making it wick below it quickly just to hit my buy order, I'm doing it.
Don't get it twisted. If I can take your Bitcoin off you, I'm taking it.
No, but I'm sorry. It's not. I'm not sorry. It's like this. This is how it works. It's the Wild West out there. And if you don't think about things properly, if you don't manage your own risk, if you don't make sure that you know exactly what you're buying, why you're buying it, and have a plan to follow, and I always keep talking about these things with planning your portfolio, making sure that you know when you want to sell, so you can actually execute the plan. Even if your plan is to sell Bitcoin at 94K and it goes to 100K, and then it drops, you've executed a plan, you've taken your profits, and if it dumps from there, then you can go back in, but you've secured profits, right? You've secured profits, and that's the plan, and that's what these guys are doing. They're pushing the price down to get a better buy. They're pushing it up to get out your exit liquidity. That's it. That's easy as it gets, right? So
exactly. And this is, when you look at what this market is, nobody is forcing anyone to participate in trading. If you do so, there are big risks on the front page of every single exchange. You have to tick a box to say you understand that big long list of crap that nobody's ever read. Guess what it says? It says you're on your own here. There are people who have nefarious means of taking your money off you, and you are putting yourself up against them. I'm putting myself up against them right now. I back myself hard. I've been doing this 6 years, and I think I'm better than most of them, never mind the average Joe. So yeah, I'm ready to go. But people, as you mentioned, you've got a friend who's thinking, oh, I'm just going to start trading, make some money. And yeah, good luck, mate. You're going to win for a while. And
You
then
might
you're going to
win if you
lose a lot.
you
Yeah.
know the standard thing that usually happens to traders. I know there's some people in. I'm not going to mention a bunch of names, but I know there's a bunch of people in here right now that are looking to get into trading crypto, right? And the thing that usually gets to people is, first of all, the emotional side, because if something goes sour and you're too zoomed in, a small 5-minute candle will look like the end of the world, right? And so this is why I keep telling people, like, if you're actually looking to get into crypto and you think you're going to start out with just trading and not, and just get in and start trading, you're approaching this the wrong way. What usually works for the majority of people long term, if they don't spend grotesque amount of hours doing this stuff like we do, you are not going to be profitable, right? I know a lot of people as well, a lot of other professionals out there, or at least skillful traders, they tell people like, it takes you 3 years to be profitable, it takes you 5 years to be profitable, blah blah. It doesn't have to, but if you go in with no experience and think you can trade this, sorry, don't do it.
I can tell people for sure that my trading knowledge and experience has cost me well multiple tens of thousands of dollars. That's been my education. Tens of thousands of multiple Bitcoin, actually. Yeah, 6 figures worth of losses easily that I've accumulated if I had just taken that money and bought Bitcoin instead.
Yeah.
It's possible that if all I'd done was bought I had 300,000 Dogecoin on 1st of January 2021. I had a peak portfolio of 34 ETH, and most of that was gone way before the top because I didn't particularly know what I was doing. Made a fraction of what I should have done, and then lost most of it on the way down in 2022. Although I've learned a lot since then, these lessons are expensive, and I'm not suggesting anybody lose that much. I'm suggesting everybody try and cash the hell out before it gets to that stage. But you have to lose in order to understand why you lost, and that's the reality of it. It's a rite of passage to blow an account leverage trading. I think every trader has to do it at least once. Phil, you've not done it yet, and I'm really hoping you're the exception.
I have.
Have you?
Yeah, I did. You remember I started that one as a preparation to test out, just to make sure that I understood how it worked. I put $100 in just for fun, messed around with it, tried a super high leverage thing. I think it was 50x, and I was just like, I'm gonna try this and see what happens. Went in,
boom,
liquidated. That's fine. It was $100. I was basically, I'm not gonna say I was trying to get liquidated, but I was trying to take as much risk as I was like, just to make sure, see how fast it was, because I know you have to experience that feeling, otherwise you will never learn. I'm sorry, it's just the truth. But then the other one that I opened up, the pain is the greatest teacher, exactly, Stephen. So one of the account that I then opened on the 1st of January this year, that you also opened, Rob, because we were doing a little bit of a competition. We talked about this before, to see who was most successful. Right now, that account for me is up 2,400%, I think.
Yep.
That's pretty good. I would have to say.
Should we check the value of mine?
Yeah. Do you still have that open though? That $100
I still have the remnants of it. I have exactly what's left.
I don't think we can see that. How much is it?
It's a big fat zero.
Okay, yeah. So you burned yours.
Yeah.
Well, so you see what happens is, like, even somebody like Rob and me, who are pretty good at this, we can still mess it up. Okay?
So.
And this is why we say don't play with more than 10% at a time, perhaps.
Yes. So within the context of that, it was during the previous drop. I had a position. It was, and because this was $100, so it was a throw. I put it in, and it was if I lose it, so be it. And I had a position. I opened it up. I had the stop loss set, but then I had a rebuy set lower, and I didn't have a stop loss on that amount. The leverage was too high. I got it caught on a wick down. It got wiped out after I'd built it up from like 100 to 180 in a few days, and then just completely blew it in one go. But at the same time, my main position, which is like 10% of my portfolio, was what I was primarily focusing on. So yes, that's it. Although I was messing around with a small amount of money, and yes, I got burnt with that small amount of money. At the same time, I made a lot more with my other part of money, which was the one that I really cared about. Yeah,
the important account. Yeah,
and so that's it. If you are going to try leverage trading, please just put a token amount in, just a small amount, and like you say, learn. And I wouldn't even recommend using any leverage other than 1 or 2 times leverage, just to get a feel for it. And that is it. As in, if you're good, and this is the Phil is proof of that. You're 2,000% so far, and you've had
4, whatever,
and you've had a bit of a crappy March.
Oh yeah, this March has been bad. I can't get past the 3,000. I got to 3,000 and then back down to 2.5 and then up and
But still, here is the point. That's why you're a good trader, and therefore you have managed to take $100 and 20 exit in two and a bit months.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a crap trader, you will blow that account. So don't start on your leverage trading with more than $100, because guess what? If you're good, if you follow risk management, if you make a few percent a day by paying attention and making gains and taking profit and locking it in and raising stop losses and doing all of this good risk management, then guess what? You'll become a millionaire off that $100. If you do it consistently, 1%, you take 1% per day and you put it into an accumulator, into something, into a compound interest calculator. 1% interest a day is an insane amount of money. Go and do that for 5 days a week for 5 years. Make 1% a day. You don't need any more than $100.
I think last time I checked the daily average gain on that account for me, I think it was like somewhere in this, I don't know, 2-3 weeks ago maybe. But the average gain over, like, if you take all the days and divide them over how much I've made, it was about 7.13% per day. Okay, and granted, I had a massive trade in the beginning of the year where I did like 580% in one trade just from absolute pure luck that had nothing to do with skill. Well, I spotted an opportunity and I just 25x short and I got out in 7 seconds, right? So that was just pure luck, right? If I had looked at my phone 30 seconds later, it wouldn't have been there, right? So either way, I do want to get into Solana because we have had a tremendous amount of questions regarding Solana, and a lot have happened with Solana in the past, the entire year actually. Since November or October, it's been pumping from like 20 something dollars all the way up to 200, so it's done 1,000%, which is obviously a pure dream for most people to get some type of trade like that. Full disclosure, I am a huge Solana bull, and I think Rob is too. I think everybody who fanboy, you like it as much as I do. There's a reason to why we like it, and it's because we've done a proper analysis of what it does and all that.
I don't quite pleasure myself to Solana quite as much as Phil does, but yes, I'm a fan.
No, I've been accumulating Solana since the bear bottom, basically, of 2023. But yes, I like what it does and how it works.
I like things that keep going up.
Right, but there's a reason to why it goes up. That's the thing, right? There's a reason for it. And we're not going to get into that too much here because this is TA Monday and not maybe, but in regards to Solana, let's see here. Here's the chart. It looks similar to the Bitcoin one. It's just a lot more uppy. And we're gonna just zoom out first a little bit. So Solana has not hit its all-time high yet. So this is the fib level that I pulled from. Let's do the weekly. Ew. Pulling your bands. No, so we pulled a fib level here from the weekly all the way down to the weekly close down here, and we're getting a $249.48 all-time high at the weekly close. And I think at the very, very peak, it's about $270 on Binance. Okay. Now, Bitcoin is stuck just above its all-time high. Solana has not gotten there yet, but it's very close to it. I think we need, well, it's $50 pump basically, and we're there. And can that happen soon? Yeah, I think so.
Just look at last week.
Yeah, right. But you can see here as well, if we do a horizontal line from this peak right here, if we did this peak here, you saw the 136. We didn't really catch that. We caught the fib level instead, but usually that's a pretty good place to put a line. And so we had this one pulled here, and we're kind of stuck on that now. And one of the reasons for that is that it's also correlating to a very nice round number, which is $200, right? We have been up at 210, but I don't think that matters much because, wick hunting and all that. But what we will do, though, is we're going to go into the 1 hourly as well. I'm going to turn the volume bands back on. And we're going to look at Solana. Yes. Okay. So I did talk to a few friends before a couple of weeks ago, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago. I asked, they asked for advice, and I said, why don't you I was going to tell them just put half of, because they were looking to move a significant bag of XRP or whatever it was into Solana because they were kind of just rotating, right? And so I said, why don't you just, if you really want to get a position, just put half of it or 25% of it in right now. And I think the price was 144 or something like that. And then I was going to say, put a limit order at 136, which is where this red line is, or 137 or whatever it was, which lines up with this and that previous line that you saw that big peak back in 2022, the bear market. And that would have been hit probably on the exchange that this person was on because there's less liquidity. So that would have been good. But overall, that position obviously it's gone up about 60% since then. Or sorry, not 60%, but I don't know, peak 40%. And in Solana, it's staying in these kind of weird patterns where it goes hard up and then sideways, and then hard up and then sideways. And now it's going up hard. And will it go sideways for a while now? Honestly, probably not at this point. Because if Bitcoin starts moving, Solana will do the same. It's a copycat, right? And, are we going to sit here around 200 or fail here and maybe fall down again? There are some support levels. We have one here, which I actually had a buy order here, which it hit today. And, we got these simple peaks going back just briefly. I put these on the candle close, by the way. For me, that's usually the best because people tend to put, and this is, where people usually would put their stop loss. We looked at this from a video we saw somewhere where you should put your stop loss, you should put your buy order where you think your stop loss should be, right? And for me, that means people will put their buy order at the peak of a candle wick a lot of the times. I tend to put them on candle closes because you tend to wick into those, just like you wick up. So we got these lines right here. So very short term, if Solana needs to correct somewhere, there's going to be a few, I guess, ranges around there. So we got maybe 195, 186, 187, 183, 173, 153. That lines up pretty well. If you're looking to allocate to Solana, I would look at those. That's me.
I'm going to put my buy order at 180 dead.
180 dead. Okay. So around this bottom right here.
Yes.
That
would be where I would be buying.
Yeah.
And see, and this is within that, as in obviously if it happens while you're asleep, so be it. But I would, if we got a liquidation, we've got the drop down there. And this is the thing with catching entries is if I see a liquidation and I see it drop several percent within a few minutes, and you can tell when the liquidation's happening. If you've got to watch it on a really short-term chart, but you'll see on the minute, you'll see the price jumping up and down on the minute, and it's spiking down, 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 and then it suddenly stops spiking and it starts coming up, and that's the point to buy. And it's a really easy buy entry because you've just seen all the liquidity get taken, so you can very quickly jump in, and then you set your stop loss below that wick, because if it drops below that wick, well, then there's more liquidity to be had. The catch is that quite often it will come down, grab that liquidity, which is your stop loss. How do you generate liquidity? You have to force people to sell. This is why stops get triggered, because if you come down to a price, you'll see there's no volume, no volume, no volume, because all the buys are at one place. Right below all the buys are a whole bunch of stop losses. Right below all the stop losses are a whole bunch more buys. So they want to, the people come in and buy the support, the whales come in and push the price down, trigger the stop losses, where everybody puts their logical stops all at the same price, and the price wicks down directly into where they just bought, and they buy your stops, and that's the bottom of that's the bottom of the chart. And then all the people who've just bought the support, they made a really good buy, a technical solid buy. They weren't challenged, they didn't get hit by the wick, and that's the kind of buy that I like to make. I'll just buy a solid low, and if it wicks below and if it carries on further down, I only make small buys. So it doesn't matter, because if I make 4, 5, 6, 7 objectively good buys in a row, well, at some point it bounces up, and then I can deleverage if I'm looking at it going, this is going to turn into a bad position. So these little tricks are easy to recognize, and just look at them. Just look how many times price will come down to a low, and then it will just touch below it, and then it will cannon back up. It's such simple behavior, and all it is because people who don't particularly know how to trade, that don't understand these tricks about generating liquidity, and that's what short-term trades is about. It's all about where the money is and finding people to take their money off them. By definition, that means hunting stops. This market can hunt stops 24/7, 365 days a week. They will find your stops, because that's how they make money.
Yes, absolutely. I think we keep touching on this every time almost. So I did want to do a quick test though here with your little.
This is what will wreck people in a bull market. This is the problem, is that people say buy low, sell high, and that's great in principle, but when people are saying, oh, what should I buy, what should I buy, what should I buy, after things have been going up for a week, the question is, what were you buying last month? Why is now the only time that you're wanting to allocate capital? And if it is, well, guess what, everyone else, you're not alone. If you're a newcomer and you're suddenly in a panic and you're looking and going, I need to buy before I miss out on this market, that's called FOMO. That is what people are selling into. The big buy sellers are selling into that FOMO, and that goes for ETF inflows as well. Bear this in mind, that although I'd say the ETF inflows are a black hole, people can sell as well as buy. So the market is a market, and if people look at it and they go, this is getting silly, I'm going to take some profit, then we'll cool off. And above the previous all-time high for Bitcoin, every single time this happens, only one thing happens, and that is zoom out, it's a vertical rise upwards. But having seen it multiple times before, it doesn't feel nice on the way up. It's not designed to feel nice. This is designed to feel horrible. It's designed to make you scared. Greed works both ways. Greed is looking at something that's 400, 500% up, seeing it drop 30 or 40% and going, oh my God, I'm going to lose all my money. I'm now only double my money. I'm going to sell everything and take what I can get. And then watching it cannon up another 500%. And 40, 50, 60% pullbacks, 80% pullbacks in bull markets happen. And
Yeah.
if you believe in the fundamentals of what you're buying, don't go buying dog shit. That, things like meme coins are a perfect example of something which, at the moment, while the hype is strong, they're going to keep going up. They're absolutely going to keep going up. But at some point, every single one of these is going to have a huge, probably 50% or more drop in a week, and most of them will never recover.
Yeah. No, exactly, because the big pockets are getting out, and that's why we get that big dip. So I do want to touch on something though, because you said, you would put a order here at 80, 180, right?
Yeah.
That's a very solid buy. That's an objectively good spot to buy. You can see it on the chart. There's a dip, and there's a dip here and here. So I did just pull this liquidity wick here just for fun. Can I just?
Yeah.
So I pulled this fun liquidity wick here that we got, just to show you how fast you can get a big crash like that, and then have it recovered basically within the day almost. Here's the same move, 22%, and that ends up right here around this bottom. So things tend to line up if you just look for it. Obviously, this could be something entirely different, but I also turned on one of our indicators, which is fairly decent at buying dips during bears, during moves. Obviously it's not buying any tops, which is kind of the point. But here, we haven't seen anything for a while. We got this one just at the start of the move. We got this bottom here at the bottom of this or close to the bottom of this liquidity grab. But something I like to just show anyone who's looking to kind of accumulate during this, like, look at the patterns that we're seeing here, right? We're seeing big up and then sideways, and then up and sideways, and then up. Currently, we're still up. If you see more of sideways stuff, and every time it dips there, maybe that's a good idea to kind of, get a little bit here, get a little bit here, get a little bit here, find your lines, and then be happy. Maybe for you, anything under $200 is like, yeah, I'll buy that because I think Solana might go to $580. I don't know, $300. Is under $200 bad buy? No, probably not, right? No. So if you're looking to accumulate, just every time you see something like a big move like this and it starts coming down, if it starts slowing down, just put a little bit in, boop, just a tiny bit. That's fine.
I've got a kind of tactic within my bot that I'm doing just with Solana and Bitcoin, which is, so most of my strategy acts as its own stop loss. So it will go up, and then as things look like they're coming down, it will sell itself, hopefully for a profit, sometimes for a loss. For Solana and Bitcoin, I've set another condition, which is you can't make a sell if it's in a loss. So at some point, these are going to make a buy, and that buy is going to roll over, and what should be a stop loss is going to not sell. And that's intentional, because those are my hodl buys. And rather than take a loss on that trade, my policy this bull run, I will not take a loss on Bitcoin or Solana on any trade. And that's a really easy principle. Don't take a loss. If you make a buy and if it drops, if it was a trade, roll it into the hodl bag. And it is a bit of a meme that when things drop, oh, I'm a long-term holder now. For me, for Bitcoin, that doesn't count. For Solana, for the next few years, that doesn't count. So I'm perfectly happy holding those through any price drop at this stage of their development.
Yeah.
There's no other coin that I'm willing to do that with. Everything else, nope, the strategy says sell, screw you, see you later. Yeah. I'll buy you when you look good again.
This comes back to what we usually talk about is there are reasons to why certain coins for us are just long-term holds. We do a lot of research into things, okay? And this means that if you are going to get into this space and you're going to be looking to accumulate, you've got to make sure that you really understand what it is you're buying and that you really, really believe in it. I mean, it's other people call it, hunting alpha, and that's, I guess I call it that too. if it's the best in its field, Solana objectively is the best in its field with everything. And that's not like, oh, it's the fastest chain, or oh, it has the most transactions. It's like, no, it beats everything in every data point, basically. Like 98% of all the data points you look at, it's got more than twice the daily active users of Bitcoin, for Christ's sake. I mean, come on. The adoption rate is monumental. People are using it a lot. I'm not saying go and buy Solana. I'm saying this is why I buy Solana. If you don't think that that's enough for a hodl bag, then okay.
Cool. So I will give just my own personal anecdote of the last cycle. Say my peak Ethereum holding was 34 ETH. Now I just did the maths on it today. That would be worth $119,000. So I can look at that and go, well, that's more than my entire portfolio. That was just my ETH. Would now be worth more than my whole portfolio. And so what was my mistake in the last cycle? My mistake in the last cycle was watching ETH go up, and most of this I accumulated around $100. I was involved. I was heavily invested in a different project. I ended up, the price pumped. I got out of that position, and I actually ended up putting a load into, selling into a load into Litecoin, a load into Ethereum. The Litecoin did pretty well, but the Ethereum did absolutely outstandingly well. And on the way up, I was looking at it and then going, ooh, nice shiny altcoin. This sounds great. Ooh, great use case. This is going to change the world. This has got a thing. And I just kept dabbling it. And this was when ETH was, say, from 100, ETH was up to $800, $1,000 with an all-time high of 1450. So sound familiar sort of scale to where we're at now? And I was looking at it going, oh, yeah, nice shiny new coin. Now this, and I started deploying bits of my ETH into other altcoins. Go and have a look at the alt ETH chart in the same way you look at the Bitcoin chart. Even though Ethereum has been pretty lackluster this cycle, objectively as an investment, it's been fantastic. Still, in the real world, Ethereum is still an exquisite investment, and so it will gain institutional investors in the same sort of zone that Bitcoin will. And Solana is now come along, and Solana is performing at a level that Ethereum has been promising to perform at, maybe by 2030 ish. And to the point where Ethereum has now changed their mind again after again and again and again and again and again. And so now currently their present mode is that they're optimizing themselves to host layer 2s, which is good. That's an excellent use for Ethereum, and Ethereum is itself an absolute giant. It's where most of the liquidity in crypto is. That's going to remain so for the near future. And the layer 2s are able to piggyback off that, and they themselves have all the scalability. And most importantly, for that ecosystem on the whole, it has access to all of Ethereum's dApps, all of Ethereum's wallets. If you start a layer 2 on Ethereum, you automatically have every single Ethereum user available to plug in simply by changing their wallet network. So don't discount Ethereum, because it's big for a reason. However, Solana is, as you've mentioned, just growing at an absolutely astounding rate, and that is what drives price in a bull market. And so my big mistake of the last bull market was taking that Ethereum and thinking that the new shiny toys are able to outpace the giant. No, the ecosystem grows first. Like the ecosystem that grows second. The coin has to grow first. The actual chain has to become big enough to support hundreds of billions or trillions of dollars worth of network activity. That's just a fact. Solana, in order to beat Ethereum for market cap, has to provide more value to the world than Ethereum does. Now, value is a subjective term. But are all the dApps individually on Solana going to grow, going to gain those hundreds of thousands, millions of users that are going to turn it from a $50-100 million market cap or $1 billion market cap into a 100 billion market cap? That's a lot less likely than Solana itself just continuing to grow and grow and grow and take market share of Ethereum, of the other EVM chains, and of Bitcoin. Because as people who've made a huge amount of money off Bitcoin, that goes for institutional investors, guess what? They're human beings and they like nice, shiny new toys. Solana is a very nice, shiny toy. And that is
follow the money. Plain and simple.
Exactly. And so Bitcoin is going to keep tearing, but its percentage gains are going to be small in crypto terms
in comparison
because it's so big. But anybody who says Bitcoin's boring, Bitcoin's whatever, no, the hundreds of billions of dollars worth of market cap that Bitcoin is bringing to the ecosystem is what flows into altcoins. And but it has to enter one way, and Bitcoin is currently the mechanism via the ETFs. So just be patient with your altcoins and don't think that they're going to just suddenly start popping. But when you have something which is quite just so obviously a market leader, as Solana is right now, the winners keep on winning. That's how it works in bull markets. So
why is there only one Google, for example? Right?
Let's ask Jeeves.
Well, it's a simple thing. This is the whole alpha thing, right? There's one YouTube, there's one Google, there's one, I don't know, Nvidia, whatever. The same thing in crypto. There's one alpha for everything.
Why does every single car manufacturer make electric vehicles, but we still only talk about Tesla?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Okay, so I do want to get into a question. We actually got a question here from Iakan. I know that's the Swedish thing, so I'm going to say it in Swedish because I can. And he's asking, Solana sounds interesting. Where do you think it will be in about 5 years? Okay, so this is an extremely difficult thing to say in the crypto space. I know you come from stocks, and in stocks you can. So well, I guess it's not. The thing is, in crypto, things are exponentially growing. In stocks, not so much, right? It has more of a calmness to it. It grows a little bit year by year, and you can see and you can kind of predict if the trend continues. But the trend in crypto can be, slow up for a year and then absolutely explode. Let me see here. Case in point, right here, Solana, right? It can just go up and slowly and then poof, suddenly. And then that trend is like, oh, that's gone, I guess. So it's very hard to predict 5 years in the future. You could make models and everything. We have made models, but I don't think they extend for 5 years. But
so you want to put my screen up for a second?
So just for one quick second, though. Yes. So the only prediction we really have where there is a line, we talked about this a few days ago, 2 weeks ago, a week ago, whatever, and we pulled the classic fib level, right, top to bottom, and then we see where it extends. The next fib, which is the only line I can actually pull on Solana and say, I think this might give you some resistance. Obviously, there is the $1,000 mark where it's like, there's a big round, nice number there, and 500 might be the same. But all in all, the next technical line you can actually pull, I mean, there's probably more, but this is the one that I've decided, is all the way up at $1,825, which sounds absolutely crazy. But the thing is, if you look at market cap versus Ethereum and how much market dominance Solana has, it was 2.5% of the entire crypto market cap just a couple of weeks ago, and now it's 3.5%. I made a model there where you had if you had 3% market cap with Solana and the entire crypto market cap went to 5 trillion, Solana would be worth $363. If you extended that market cap to $8 trillion for the entire industry, then Solana kept its 3%, it would go to, I think it was 500 and something. So you can make these type of models and kind of do some guesswork. And that's basically the only thing you can really do. Unless Rob, of course, has something super cool on his chart. And I think I know what it is, actually, so I'm going to let you do it. Here you go.
Is that what you expected?
Yep, exactly that.
So this is the others, the others ticker on crypto market cap. So it's the total crypto market cap excluding the top 10. So I did just have a very quick look as Phil was talking on total market cap, but that includes Bitcoin and Ethereum and USDT and USDC. And so they kind of fudge the numbers down quite a bit. And so what this is my sort of very brief cycle model of basically how, a sort of very realistic model of how the next cycle or two can play out. And if we look at this previous cycle, I have excluded this very initial bit because it's basically like 30 something million, and at that point there were no altcoins. This was not a thing. So taking it from this first real correction, and first bull market 34,000% up. Don't take these numbers exact, by the way, they are just guides to say. And then we had a 93% correction. The next up was 8,300%, and then we had an 85% correction. So the run up was about a third as large, and the correction was half as bad. That's 93%, 92.5% to 85% is actually another, 92.5% is 50% lower down. So the correction wasn't as bad. Now, if you extend those sort of percentages up again, then this time round we would be looking at somewhere like a 2,000% rally, which would take us up to a 1.5 trillion market cap. This is just for the others, by the way. And then the drop would be somewhere closer to 80%. Maybe it's not that bad if the market's matured a bit. It's more like 70%. And then, so let's just base an assumption it's 70%. I think maybe that's a bit worse. Yeah, I'm going to go with 80%. And then the next growth phase is a similar cut from 2,000% to about 600 or 700%. So that would put us somewhere around the end of the decade at around 2.5 trillion market cap for altcoins. Now that's about an 8x from where we are now. That's pretty reasonable. That'd be very sensible, I think. And so as a sort of minimum aim, I would think that Solana, as the market leader and as an emerging market leader, should be able to capture a significantly higher proportion than that. And I'm talking about as a sustainable growth. On a bull market, when it goes exponential, Solana will go fucking nuts. And so it's very difficult to sort of gauge and go pick out a top. Me and Phil have a very sort of humorous upside target of Solana of $1,800 through nothing more than stupid maths. Now, it's a pipe dream number. But I thought that $5,000 Ethereum was a pipe dream number in 2021.
I mean,
that's the kind of the point is the leaders, the ecosystem can only grow once the actual chain has been built out and has enough liquidity to support it. Solana is the emerging chain. If you want to grow the entire ecosystem by something like a 10x from here, then Solana, if it's going to be part of that, and dominance plays into that a lot, which as it grows and gains dominance over that market, it has to be a multi-hundred billion dollar market cap chain.
Yeah. So there's one model I want to show that it's not ours at all. It's actually from Invest Answers, which is another content creator on YouTube who is, if I may say so, very, very good at what he does. Okay, he makes a lot of models. He makes a lot of, deep diving stuff. Like, he's great. If you don't follow him. Okay, I'm a huge fan of this guy. Okay, so he has a model called the Solana Upside Model, and what it does is it looks at Solana's dominance compared to Ethereum's dominance, and how much Solana is growing against it. You can see he's put lines here. I'll show you. So he's put, that's yours. That's not mine. That's mine. So there it is. It's an eye, it hurts your eyes a little bit. So the white line is Solana's price from the bear market bottom there, you can see. And all these other lines are if Solana has a certain percentage of Ethereum's market cap or market share or market dominance. And you've seen how it's grown past these all of these ones over here, it's grown past this, it's not up here. And I think the prediction that James is his name, was that it would go to maybe be 10%, maybe even 20% of Ethereum's market cap. And currently, it's nearing all those things, and you can see it on this upside model, which I really like. And you're getting the price here on the side as well. So next target after this one, this red one was $188 compared to ETH. Next one is 310. The one after that is 471. The one after that is 659. And these are moving targets, obviously. And this is a free model you can actually get on TradingView. You have to type in like IA Sol Upside or something like that, and you get it. I'll be honest, this is actually the first time I actually put it on my own chart. But it's just a fun way to kind of predict what the next plausible level would be against Ethereum with Solana. So yeah, I just wanted to show that because I really think it's a fun little model to look at. But yeah, I think we need to round this off here actually because it's 9 o'clock.
Got one little thing to share first, which is related into dominance.
There you go.
There we go. And so this is Ethereum dominance plus Solana dominance. And so what we can see overall is we're in a range, nice big range, and it's been as high as 24.5%, and it's been as low as, taking the wick, 15% since the bear market top. This is a bull market top in 2021. So since then it's been flat, but Solana's continued to grow exponentially. So what this is almost is showing that there is basically a linear transition of dominance from Ethereum to Solana, and potentially from other blockchains as well. So you'll see Polygon, Arbitrum, Optimism. Those are going to grow quite well as ETH continues to grow out, and it is going to, and they've just had their upgrade, which is specifically designed to help layer 2s. So I'm expecting a significant move in Ethereum and the Ethereum ecosystem over the next few months. Once, right now we're in a bit of a sell the news event, ETH's going to dump itself out, and then it's going to start making highs. And I expect those highs to be quite big because Bitcoin's already made a pretty sizable move. Ethereum will be next. Now, normally the mid-cap coins, Solana, Cardano, all of those, they will take a bit of a backseat while Ethereum moves because they're the mid-caps. Solana being the emerging leader, if it's going to show that it's the emerging leader, we want to see Ethereum run, and we want to see Solana run harder and continue to take dominance off this. So we'd actually see this chart going up, but we still see Ethereum only maintaining or losing dominance. And that's the sign of a winning chain. So these are the behaviors in a bull market not to ignore. Don't ignore things that are gaining dominance and flipping other coins, because the faster horses, they stay faster and they gain speed and they gain momentum. Meanwhile, the slower horses lose speed, lose momentum, and you end up leaving a lot of gains on the table by being invested in just suboptimal coins.
Yep, you nailed it. So now my cat has arrived. This is Enzo, and he's telling me it's time to stop because he usually gets in here when he's bored and he wants me to give him food or pets. And so we probably have to end this, or he will eat my cables.
A very quick one from Imre. Do you think everybody's waiting for the Bitcoin halving? No, not really. I think the halving now is narrative more than substance. The ETFs on the whole are gobbling up Bitcoin just at a massively higher rate than the current issuance. So all that happens is in a month's time, they have to find another 500 Bitcoin from other sources. And
they're already eating 10,000 a day, basically, on average.
Since the last halving, so for 4 years now, exchange volume just simply the churn of exchanges and the fact that every time we make a trade, we pay a certain amount of fees in the coin to the exchange. The exchanges were accumulating more Bitcoin per day than the miners were. And exchanges operate exactly the same as miners during bear markets. They accumulate, they just sit there and only sell what they need to fund their operating costs. Then they wait for the bull market and then they offload their coins. Exactly the same as miners, except exchanges don't have a maximum amount of Bitcoin they can accumulate per day.
Yeah.
So
they're only capped at what they can get, basically.
yes, which is a function of volume. So during
Yep.
a bull market, they get more and more and more Bitcoin right at the top, and they are the ones, believe me, as soon as they start to see the inflows slow down, exchanges are the ones dumping on us. So yeah, like it's just the way it goes. But
It is.
ultimately, yeah, as it happens, no, I don't think the halving is fundamentally important. However, if people buy because of the halving, then the price will go up because they're buying because of the halving. That is it. The stock to flow model ultimately kind of failed on a number of attempts. You know, it's been revised and changed and done whatever, but it still has that same flaw that price is dictated by the demand side, not the supply side.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Speaking of demand, you are in high demand right now.
Currently, this is a 23-pound cat. He's not a small one, and that hurts. Okay, thank you. Right. I wish his name was Bitcoin, but his name is Enzo. So, next cat maybe.
Next cat.
Anyway,
Satoshi.
Yeah, probably gonna name the next one Satoshi Nakamoto. I want the whole name because then when you calling your cat over, he's like Satoshi Nakamoto. It'll be good. All right. We'll round it off here, guys, and remember you can follow, subscribe, notification bell, all these things. Make sure to follow us on TikTok.
Yeah.
We're trying to make a little bit of a push there.
Come on, there's 7 watching and there's only 5 likes. So
yeah, where's all
you
the
haven't
likes?
liked.
There should be twice as many likes as people watching. You should like it twice. Get an extra account and go like this with your other account. Same thing with TikTok. But yeah, we're making a small push on TikTok. Feel free to comment on everything you see on our TikTok. It's just going to be fun. We're going to be responding to everything there. If you have questions, you can ask them there too. Join the Discord as well. It's all in the description down there. So we'll see you tomorrow. I think we're going to do a macro perspective thing and talk about some stuff. Yeah, and it'll be good to know what's going on around the world. So, you can model your trading around that a little bit.
Yep.
So, yep, cool. We'll see you in Discord. Cheers.
Bye.